Okay, so here you are. You've got these lovely text wraps going on up here. Notice what would have happened. Remember how we've got everything highlighted, our columns are highlighted. What would happen if for some reason I went over here? Now, is that the net effect of what we would want where the LOCATIO and then NS is down there at the bottom? No, probably not. So we are going to stretch it out a bit more and then everything is good to go. Your uniform, you still got your uniform widths of your column, but then all of a sudden you have got everything nicely stacked on top of it. But take a look here. Again, this is just something that I want to show you, but it makes for prettier things. So what you're going to do is you're going to highlight column or row 1 again. Notice that the cell picker is all of a sudden down at the bottom, whereas you see this stuff is stacked. Okay. Now, the reason it is because everything on this spreadsheet is focused so it's sitting down at the bottom of the cells, except this one just looks strange. So here's what we're going to do. Okay, notice this thing right here where it says the vertical alignment. If I click on this drop down right here, it's currently, as you see, set for sticking it at the bottom. I could put it up at the top where everything goes up there now. But let's take a look at what happens when we click it so the vertical alignment is now centered. Boom. Okay. So all of a sudden, we've got picker sitting in the center. Okay. And this doesn't really come into play any other time than when you are actually attempting to really any other time other than when you start to deal with text wrapping. Again, it just looks a little bit cleaner. Okay, so let's take a look. This is what your spreadsheet should look like at this point. So I'm going to click off all that stuff. Now, I am going to highlight column or row 1 again right here, and I am going to right click. Okay, right click, and I am going to insert one row above. Okay, notice here's row 1. Okay, I'm going to highlight it. And now all of a sudden, I'm going to tell Google Sheets that I want to insert one row above. Click it. And then all of a sudden, look at this. I've got an extra row. It pushed everything down absolutely perfectly. Okay. I could show you how to do this. I could highlight A1 right now, and I could do it again, right click. And then what would happen if I said insert cell? Maybe I just wanted to insert a cell. If I clicked shift down, look at that. All of a sudden, it's all jacked up because I inserted one cell. Now, staying on that one, I could hit undo if I wanted to undo it, but I'm going to right click it and I am going to write delete cell and shift up. Okay, so here's what our spreadsheet is looking like at this point in time. Now, another thing that you're going to do, all of a sudden, you've got a spreadsheet. You're gonna title it something. What the heck? Why not? I'm going to give it a title. Okay, I've highlighted A1, B1, C1, and D1. Okay, I've done that. Now, all of a sudden, I am going to do something that looks like I am going to merge cells. Okay, merging cells is somewhat useful. It's sort of cosmetic, but at the same time, it can be very useful in terms of doing a number of things that we might be taking a look at later. So I'm going to take these 4 cells that I've highlighted right there, and I'm going to merge them together into one. And lo and behold, by clicking on that, I am going to all of a sudden have one cell. I used to have 1, 2, 3, 4 cells. Now all of a sudden I have one. So all of a sudden I've got one cell, and I am going to write picker pro. Ooh, it's not exactly productivity worksheet. Okay, and I'm going to hit enter. Okay, now kind of looks strange being offset like that. I'm going to center it again. Boom, and then it sits very nicely right up above everything right there. Okay, so that's good stuff. Now, how long have I got you here for? Let's see. So I'm going to do one last thing right here. I'm going to add another cell. Okay, another column to my picker productivity worksheet. Okay, here's what I'm going to type in as its heading: locations per hour. Okay. Now, if you remember, I set it up so it was text wrapping. It just nicely wrapped it for me. Okay. Now, we've got this. What the heck? I'll center it. What the heck? I'll center the whole doggone thing. Boom. Okay. Now, if I wanted to figure out my locations per hour, would anyone out there in video land know how to do such a thing? Okay. Hopefully, let me say that again. Hopefully, if you were the supervisor of the picking department, you would say, Jaden worked for me 7.6 hours, and he visited while he was here during his 7.6 hours, he visited 566 locations. Okay. Essentially, what's going to happen is that I am going to divide the number of locations that I actually have, and I am going to create, I'm going to take my number of locations picked, and then I am going to divide it by this. Okay. Now, the way you would do such a thing in this case would be equals. Okay. Now, you can do it one of a couple ways. You can arrow, okay, using your arrows. You can go over. Okay, you can click on 566, which is in cell column C, row 3 or C3. Okay. And the division sign on your laptop is going to be denoted by the slash sign. Slash. So C3, your 566 divided by what? 7.6. Okay. So you've got the net effect of your formula here of being equals C3 divided by B3. Okay. And then at that point, you hit enter. Okay. And by doing that, look at that. All of a sudden, you notice that Jaden averages 75 locations per hour. Okay. I want you to do that formula for every single picker. You've got 11 more from Mike down to Caroline. Okay. I want you to remember, you guys remember anything that we did with the cross here? And how something down here was able to be dragged over to the side and it automatically applied everything? I'll give you a little hint. I'm going to make the cross sign. I'm going to drag it down one cell. Boom. Okay. All of a sudden, it has made my formula exactly like this formula, however, applying it to the next row down where I just got done dragging it. Okay. Excel or Google Sheets is only as smart as the formulas that you input in it. And in this case, since I'm doing the exact same function, the exact same columns, and the division within those columns, I can get away with just dragging it down. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to take care of all of these cells, and I want you to fill in all of those things. Okay, and then I want you to come over here and I want you to type that this is your picks per hour. Oops. Look, you can even get it together. Nah, you can do that. I get a little busy. Nah, we'll stretch it out here. Okay. So, anywho, you've got that. I want you to do that. And then I want you to figure out how you would. I'm going to center it as well. Okay. Make it look clean, make it look pretty. Okay. Then all of a sudden, I'm going to want you to help me figure out how to do your picks per hour. Okay. Again, we've already established this is how many hours got worked. Right here are your units picked. Something tells me, and I want you to remember this, I'm not going to do it, but you are going to create the same type of formula as you did here in column E, and then perhaps drag down. I'm not sure. But I want you to do the exact same thing over here. However, this time utilizing, oops, I should probably change that instead to picks. We should probably say that's units per hour. That sound a little bit better? Yeah, probably does. Anywho, so I want you to create the same formula, and then I want you to take care of this right here. Okay, so you've got some things that I'm going to want you to have filled in, and you are going to submit them to me. Okay. Okay, so do this, finish this column out right here, create this column. Okay, you're going to have to create that. Okay, you're going to have to insert this thing right here. Okay, you are going to have to bold, I believe we did in this one. You're going to have to introduce, I think, the text wrapping. I forget. Okay, but it should look like this right here. It should look just like this right here. So, without further ado, I'm going to shut her on down and tell you that we are done. Okay, so with that being said, goodbye, and take a look at Canvas because you're going to need to submit to me a copy of your spreadsheet. Thank you very much.